This is Activity 1-5, creating a manual running total on summary data. We have a new file open here. It's called Saddle Sales by Month. And let's just look at the makeup. Let's go to the design option here. And we can see in here there is a grouping, and the details have actually been suppressed. Now I'm going to pull this down, and there is a group footer here as well. Now our goal is we want to summarize monthly. So we need to create a formula for calculating the cumulative total for the month. And we are grouping by month. So of course we have to do a formula. Let's go to our formula field. Let's do a right click and a new one. And what are we going to call this? We're going to call this manual R2 or RT2. And of course our formula workshop opens up, and we're going to use while printing records. Now, while printing records is not actually printing, it's reading. While you're reading each row, while you're parsing each row, do something. Well, we're going to establish a number variable. And I have to do while printing records. If it doesn't turn blue, you haven't got it right. So it's going to be a sum total, and the sum total is going to be a total, and then plus, every time it parses, it's going to add this component. We're going to add the group 1 order and order date. So this is looking at the monthly amount for every row that it reads in the group. And let's check that. And let's save and close. So the formula is fine. Now where do you want to bring it into? Well, because it is based on groups, it would make sense to bring that into the page and put it in the grouping. So I'm going to go ahead, drag that into my group header here. Just going to put it off to the side. Right? I'm also going to put a label across the top here. Oops, not that right here. Running total. And let's just have a look. And it does look to be correct. But it's got the decimals. Let's get rid of those decimals. Right. Now, notice here we have months. These are groups. But we also have grouping, or we could have grouping by year. We could. Now let's go back to design. So that was fairly easy. Fairly easy to do. Now, with that in there, what if we want to do this for every calendar year? Okay, let's do a new group. So across the top, insert a group. Now what is it going to be based on? Well, order date, right, in ascending order, and for each year. And we say OK. Now we have group 1 and we have group 2. Now this one, of course, is the most recent one. And do we want that to be underneath or above? Well, we can drag these around. We can drag these around. We can nest these different. Now let's just visually check it. So that's 2018, 2019, 2019. So it's extracted that. And we can see over here. Let's go back to design. Now, we can nest this differently, and I'm going to suggest that you do nest this differently. We're going to move this underneath. Now, I'm just doing a left click and holding, and I'm moving it up. And let's move that over because that's the month. And let's move that over, and that's the year. Now, that makes a lot more sense. And let's go back to design. So we have a group 1 and we have a group 2, and now down below we have the footer section. So now we're going to do another one, and this one is going to be a reset, because if I go to preview, it's not resetting it. We want to reset it. So let's go to our formula fields and let's do a new one. Let's call it reset RT. Again, it's going to be a while printing records. We're going to create this number variable. We're going to check that out. And we're going to save and close that. Now, where do you want to bring that into? Well, we're going to put it in the group 1 section. So let's find it. And we're just going to drag it over. Now, we're going to just drag it. Oops. My mouse sometimes is a little sensitive. And let's preview. Now it has, notice, reset it. So here's our 2018. And if you'll notice, in 2018 we have 2 entries totaling 597. In the next year, 441. Now this we can just suppress. Let's format that field and common and suppress it. And that's working, right? Now we could do a running total for each year. That is the running total. Now let's go back to design. Let's do another formula. Let's do a right click. We're going to call this show R. And again, a while printing. And let me just visually check that. And looks good. And save and close. Now where do you want to put that? Well, we're going to put this in the group footer. And first of all, we're going to put a little explanation down here, a little text field. Annual total. And then we're going to bring that in. And preview. So the annual total is 597. And that does make sense, doesn't it? Now we can move these around depending on what you want and how you want to display things. And of course, we could do all sorts of other formulas. We don't have to stick by that formula, right? And we can move these down to group footer 1. Annual total. And we can customize these, move them around, make them bold. And that works. And that's the end of the activity.